You know why this bothers me so much too? Because I take a lot of group fitness classes. And it just reminds me of when you go into the class and all of a sudden it's a sub. And what does the sub have? Music with no words or a silence at certain parts of the class. Or I need to be held hands when I'm doing a minute plank.
Right.
I cannot sit here with no 808 and counting myself to 60. I can't do it. I need something. Okay, welcome to Two Black Girls, One Rose, where together we'll uncover what we can learn about modern dating, love, and relationships from popular television. I'm Justine, and today we welcome Danielle B., Master of Public Health with a focus on sexuality and reproductive health, a BA in film, and a Columbia University grad. She's the expert in all the shenanigans we've watched all season long on Euphoria. I'm so excited to have Danielle B. on the pod today. Woo!
Oh, Justine, thank you so much for having me. Also, my BA in film rarely gets mentioned. So thank you so much for bringing that up. I really, go Bears, Berkeley grad proud. But, in my line of work now, I never get to talk about that. So pretty cool that you just brought that up.
And very important, I think, for today and for what we're discussing today.
Agreed. Yes.
Even though I'm happily married, I still hear all about the horror stories of dating on social media my friends, and honestly, the biggest green flag you can look for is authenticity. That's what I like about Highly Dating app. It's built for daters who are over perfect profiles and want real connections. Highly Dating app also uses smart matching to learn who you can actually vibe with, which makes the experience feel more intentional. Download Highly Dating app from the App Store or Google Play, or visit highly.com. That's HILY.com. Date as you are with Highly Dating app. So, something hilarious that my dad says every time he comes over to watch the baby is he says, "You forget, we've done this before," to me, like whenever he does something like, expert dad stuff with Jazzy, right? And the other day, he was watching her and I caught him putting her baby food on her pacifier and then sticking it in her mouth. Just like men in STEM, really, okay? Because he's done it before. Most Father's Day gifts end up in a drawer. Storyworth doesn't. It gives your dad a year-long experience and gives your family a book of stories he'd probably never think to tell on his own. Each week, Storyworth sends him a question about his life. He responds however he wants, writing back over email, voice recording, or new this year, a guided phone call. No apps, no logins, no tech hassle. Storyworth meets him where he is, so he can focus on the joy of remembering and reflecting. You can even help pick the questions. Choose from pre-written questions, write your own, or let Storyworth create personalized questions based on his life. This year, give Dad a gift that captures who he really is before the stories get harder to remember. Father's Day is Sunday, June 21st. Order right now and save up to $20 at storyworth.com/rose. Save up to $20 at storyworth.com/rose. STROYWORTH.com/rose. Do you have a relationship to the show Euphoria? Before I asked you to come on.
I would say I have seen, yes. Before you asked me to come on, I had seen the prior two seasons.
Great.
This is season 3, correct? Okay, just making sure. But they came out a while
long ago.
So there was like a 5-year gap or something like that. So I had seen them. My relationship to the show was that I understood that it kind of was meant to be this controversial thing that ruffled feathers on purpose and had really cool sparkly makeup by Donnie Davy.
God. Donnie didn't get her real culture shifting moment as she has the past 2 seasons of Euphoria, because she shifted culture.
Right.
Like she was the one who made everybody start putting rhinestones on the side of their head. And and she created her own line, Half Magic. Like, she is incredible. So shout out to Donnie.
Completely.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's important to mention it, because that's one of the key things I feel like about Euphoria. Other than the gratuitous and sometimes grotesque sex scenes and, objectification of women and kind of the over the topness of the characters. And so I had been a consumer of the show, but before you had asked me to come on, I was kind of iffy on whether or not I would continue watching the season. And then lo and behold, watch like 7 episodes in a row. So I'm deep in it right now. I feel like I have Cassie's breasts kind of like, deep inside of my head because of how many times Sam Levinson decided that they need to be on screen.
I was going to say, you and Sam both have this imprinted in your mind walking around. Yep.
Right. And that's against my will, I'll say.
Unlike Sam, that's against your will. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, we can start wherever you want. I'm prepared.
So my initial thoughts for this particular episode, I have been trying to figure out why people who don't sit and analyze this show are enjoying watching it. Because I am sitting and analyzing it and taking all these notes, and I have to do a cultural critique, and I have to do and so when you get there, you start to really hate what you're watching. But I'm trying to think about if I was just putting this on because it's Sunday at 9, why would I? This show, to me, doesn't know if it wants to be a horror or a Western. But what it is not is a drama or a dark comedy, which was what it was its first 2 seasons. And that is what makes me so viscerally angry about the show, because I didn't sign up to watch 8 horror movies. I signed up to watch Euphoria.
Right. That are over an hour long each episode, mind you. I'm sitting for a full film every time I sit down to watch an episode.
That's
against my will once again.
The critique that Tracy had last week, she was like, they're not an hour. They're an hour and 12 minutes. That extra 12 minutes is so unnecessary and counts so much when you're watching and sitting down. Ooh.
Completely. And they always, I am a behind the scenes kind of DVD commentary girly. So I will watch the end pieces because I'm like, how did they make this? This is interesting. I don't know if spoilers.
Oh, no.
Because Nate dies, right? So, the coffin where he's like, how'd they film the coffin scene and the snakes? That to me is fascinating. So I'll watch the full hour 12, but I don't, it is excessive. And it's kind of how I felt when I was I never finished the show, but when I was watching Stranger Things, every episode was an hour and a half. And I was just like, I don't want to be in the Upside Down for that long. And same thing with this world that they have built is quite, gnarly. So I don't necessarily want to be there the whole time.
Yeah, and it's just, I feel like they should have advertised it as horror. That's the genre that we're in now. With all the suspense, with all the gore, with all the death, with all of that. I'm like, oh, that's why I hate watching this. Because I'm I feel differently than what I felt previously. And then they do every season every episode this little and I'm over that.
The tumbleweed. Right.
Done.
Okay, back really quickly because I feel like I would be remiss if I wouldn't mention this. In season 2, when Zendaya relapses and she has that really intense scene with her mom and her sister, to me, that is some of the best acting that I have ever seen. I was so blown away by her performance and felt very much like she was just completely in that character. And so I really did. And she's an amazing actress. And so even this season, it's fun to enjoy her acting. But I really feel like that in terms of my relationship to the show, that was the best part of it, where I just felt so deeply for this girl and for her family and for how broken this whole thing is due to addiction issues. And so I think that they're missing that. This season.
There's no heart of the show, right?
There's no heart. It just feels like it's all we're supposed to see these women as playthings. And at what point is it not a parody if you're doing the exact same things that everyone else is doing about these women?
Thank you. Because he hasn't said anything different yet. Nothing at all. Besides, honestly, Nate dying was just, to me, Jacob Elordi's so happy not to work with Sam Levinson ever again. Right?
What's the drama there? Like what's the deal?
I feel
with
like
Jacob
everybody
Elordi?
has different drama with Sam and his productions.
Yeah.
And they all signed 3-year contracts, it seems. Everybody went back and renegotiated. If you notice, Jacob Elordi is not in scenes with many other actors. He is doing a lot of one-on-one with people who are not stars of the show. So he doesn't want to be known as this character ever again. He wants to put it completely behind him, which I'm sure is the mastermind of a lot of different people over at the CAA.
Yes.
And then there's like Jules as well. Hunter Schafer. She, again, only really filming with Zendaya. Like, not doing a whole lot. She wasn't even in this episode. And it's the second to last episode.
She's really mainly like in her apartment just doing her painting thing.
Just painting dicks in that apartment.
Lots of dicks.
Like, that, to me, it's just like, all these characters are so siloed, and it doesn't seem like it is on purpose, which is my last thought about the show, which is, I was trying to say one of my other critiques this weekend to my husband, and one of my main ones is that when you're in high school, you're all on the same playing field with everybody. Everybody's doing the same thing. So when people deviate, that's where the interesting storylines come in. When you graduate college, or when you graduate high school or whatever, that line, that kind of standard is gone. And that is very jarring when you are coming of age. That is not addressed whatsoever. The fact that Cassie's a married woman is nuts, right? And like the fact that like Maddie is living in this apartment and she like feels a way about it, but she doesn't have a roommate. Like, nobody knows their living situations. They're just not addressing the realities of what happens when you leave your institution with all of your friends that you went to that institution with. And he doesn't know how to write that. He doesn't know how to write people who are all in different places in their life and how they could relate and how they could come back to each other. He's just counting on, oh, they all graduate high school and they're friends, so they're all gonna die,
right? Or the wedding, right, is the place where like people kind of come together, but they don't really like. We see Nate's dad, the late Eric Dane, who, you know, is slurring his words, seemingly because he is written as a drunk person, potentially also because of his disease and of him being able to do that acting. And we see him kind of acknowledge the change in Jules. The dress Jules is wearing to the wedding is the most absurd thing I have ever seen. So it just is this like fantasy world. Like, to your point of he doesn't know how to write that. It's because I don't think this show is at it whatsoever wanting to be based in any sort of reality. It does feel very fantasy driven, especially with the makeup and the outfits and the way in which like people show up on screen. Like, it does feel like it's trying to be a parody, but once again, like, the result is the same of the way in which women are treated, the way in which we're judging people who are doing sex work. Like, there is no breakthrough about this show that is different than the norm. It just is under this guise of this like Western fantasy.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for breaking that down, because I was just
happy
like,
to be here.
It's frustrating, but it's only frustrating when you can't like parse through it and like see what he's trying to say. Or you're just watching casually because you love horror. And a lot of people really love horror, love gore. And so they'll love this.
I think that's true. I think people do. And I wonder why that change happened, like from season 2 to season 3. Like, what direction were they pushed to go in, or was this it feels kind of random. And yeah, I'm just not quite sure how it's going to end. I don't know what they're planning on doing. This isn't the series finale, right? They might have another season.
God, they changed it mid-season. They changed it mid-season from series finale to season finale.
To season. I noticed that and I was kind of like, that's a little weird. Like if they just went back to Rue and like the way in which this young person was like struggling to find her faith and connect with her mom and really be around her sister. Like, I feel like that was really what the show was about. And sure, it was ridiculous. It did in the first 2 seasons have these over the top storylines. And at the same time, like you said, like that really was the heart of the show. Now we just have Rue kind of ding, 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 going between these 2 groups of gangsters and drug dealers. And it's like, in what world would Lori be like, that's my girl. I want Rue. It's like, who would care about this person? Like, in what world would she be someone that they would be fighting over, right? It just feels like very pedantic almost, or just like, I don't know, just like condescending. Is that the right word?
To us, the viewer.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm just not sure. Like I wish that it had. Again, it's a pleasure to watch Zendaya act. I feel like there have been those glimpses and those moments, but I don't necessarily feel like it is accomplishing what it is setting out to accomplish.
Whatever that is. I still don't know. And I don't want to listen to Sam Levinson talk, so I guess I'll never know.
Right. Not interested.
Yeah. For the pre-show today, I will be talking a little bit about Summer House. Wes is really making everybody mad with his own platform. And some of the Painted by Esther and Patrick Ta drama. This is very niche beauty drama that I'd love to speak more about. It's very consumerist. It's very crazy. If you want more from us, you got to join us on Patreon. That's where all the good stuff is. You can get the pre-show. You can get this full episode on video and ad-free. Head to patreon.com/2blackgirlsmedia and try out a 7-day free trial. You can also join us for 2 Black Girls Watch. We are watching Jersey Shore back. Again, 2 Jersey girls watching the Jersey Shore back. It is so fantastic. I did not realize that it is truly one of our cultural foundations, Jersey Shore. There's so much in the vernacular that we say because of that cast of 7. So
we got GTL, we got
cabs here,
we got a lot.
Grenades. We got a lot. Like so many things. A shout out to the Rose Garden. We love you guys. Also, if you are listening to us, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Even though I'm happily married, I still hear all about the horror stories of dating on social media with my friends. And honestly, the biggest green flag you can look for is authenticity. That's what I like about Highly Dating App. It's built for daters who are over perfect profiles and want real connections. A recent survey by Highly Dating App found that over half of young daters have been on a date with someone who looked different than their profile pictures. Yikes. Which is exactly why authenticity matters so much. On Highly Dating App, the focus is on showing your real personality, and their compatibility tools help you connect based on values and interests. The app fosters a culture of vulnerability and always its users to show their true self in every way. Highly Dating App also uses smart matching to learn who you can actually vibe with, which makes the experience feel more intentional. And we're all out here intentionally dating, even if you're just looking for a look. You know what I mean? It feels like the Highly Dating App is for people who are done pretending and ready to meet someone as themselves. Download Highly Dating App from the App Store or Google Play, or visit highly.com. That's HILY.com. Date as you are with Highly Dating App. So, something hilarious that my dad says every time he comes over to watch the baby is he says, "You forget, we've done this before," to me, like whenever he does something like, expert dad stuff with Jazzy, right? And the other day, he was watching her, and I caught him putting her baby food on her pacifier and then sticking it in her mouth. Just like men in STEM, really, okay? because he's done it before. My dad is so funny. Anyway. Oh my God. And for Father's Day, it's time to celebrate him and all the laughs that we've had together. Most Father's Day gifts end up in a drawer. Storyworth doesn't. It gives your dad a year-long experience and gives your family a book of stories he'd probably never think to tell on his own. Each week, Storyworth sends him a question about his life. He responds however he wants, writing back over email, voice recording, or new this year, a guided phone call. No apps, no logins, no tech hassle. Storyworth meets him where he is, so he can focus on the joy of remembering and reflecting. You can even help pick the questions. Choose from pre-written questions, write your own, or let Storyworth create personalized questions based on his life. Families have used Storyworth to create over 1 million books, and more than 50,000 five-star reviewers agree. It will be a treasure your family will love. New this year is Storyworth's Unlimited plan. Buy it once, and you can give Storyworth memoirs to friends and families all year round. Plus, it comes with their newest features and multiple full-color book copies. I feel like I have to document some of the stories that he tells to and about my daughter and just document them in his voice. I think that would be so funny for her to hear later, and she can understand it. And just some of the shenanigans that those two get into, I think would be so funny for him to retell. And just for her to have that forever, I think it would be a really amazing granddaughter, granddad type of, we call him G-pop type of memory, keepsake. So we're going to use Storyworth for that, and you guys should too. This year, give Dad a gift that captures who he really is before the stories get harder to remember. Father's Day is Sunday, June 21st. Order right now and save up to $20 at storyworth.com/rose. Save up to $20 at storyworth.com/rose. STROYWORTH.com/rose. And let's get into the episode. So we are starting off with Ali's story. We start off with him smoking crack. And
that was jarring. I was like, oh, shit. But I assume that it was in the past because they made a hair change. And usually if they do that, then they're telling us something about time.
Yep. And he's with a sex worker who is Natasha Lyonne.
I loved it. And in the after credits, he was like my good friend Natasha Lyonne. So that was cute to hear that they're pals.
That's nice. Oh, there's such great actors in this show. They did the best with what
very,
they got.
Very good.
Yes. And he's talking about how he has a family. She also has a child, presumably, and they get to going. He comes back to his family home, high boots, starts blowing raspberries at his daughter at dinner. And his wife says, fuck you at the other end of the table. His 2 daughters are sitting there as he beats his wife in the kitchen. So, again, I said this last week, and last week it needed it more than this week. But this needed music real bad. And Hans Zimmer is not prepared for scenes like this. So he just sticks with his little orchestra, gets to conducting, and then goes back home. This really needed some really heart-wrenching music. Maybe even a Lizzie McAlpine, something really just sad musically to hold your hand as you go along with watching a beloved actor, Coleman Domingo, do this kind of grotesque scene. Do you feel the same, Danielle?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the music missing?
Wow. That's a good point. Was there no music really at all during that part?
Not really. And last week with Alamo's story, it was so glaring, having a background of the black 1970s, almost blaxploitation film, and no music. I was like, where's Al Green? Where's the Gap Band? Where are any of these classics that really could have added a lot to this section? And it's just because
that's
Labyrinth
really
left.
interesting. Yeah. That's fascinating. I think I was really disturbed by the scene, as I'm sure many people who watched were. And it's a really good question. I didn't even think about the music. I think that I was so kind of upset by what was happening that I was even just like I was assuming that this was in the past, but I was also like I was like, oh, this is his origin story. And then came the like boxing scene, which again also felt kind of like I just didn't like the violence of it. And this comes up a lot in like many of these episodes of like, it's just not, I'm not like a horror person. I don't love watching stuff that has violence in it. And so it's a really good point. Like, I wonder how it would have shifted the scene if the production was giving us a little nod as the viewer of like, this sucks. Like you said, we're gonna hold your hand through this. Lizzie McAlpine is a funny choice.
I know, it would have been a little crazy, but she's just like the saddest artist in my Spotify playlist. So like,
she is quite sad. Maybe some Phoebe Bridgers. Sure. She's also quite sad.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that maybe they wanted us to like sit with the violence again, which like I didn't want to. But I wonder if that was the choice.
Danielle, you don't know that their music person quit mid-season?
Wait. I heard about that, but that doesn't mean that there's no other music in the show.
So that means that the direction of the music changed drastically. Like they went from an indie artist, Labyrinth, right, who like made the show season 1 and season 2. And that's like having a makeup artist that's not Donnie Davy on staff. Like it's like that level of impact to the show. And then
this was the person who did like the Instagram story who was like, fuck Sam Levinson, fuck HBO. Yes. Okay, I was like clued into that, but I didn't read further, but now it's all coming together. Okay, so that makes sense.
And then they hired Hans Zimmer, fantastic, wonderful composer of very large...
Just stands the test of time.
Very large musical scores, and is not fit for a show that millennials...
Quite an oeuvre.
Yes. Not fit at all for this show.
Right.
At all.
No, that doesn't feel like that is correct for Hans Zimmer to be in here. Hans Zimmer, what are you doing here? Like, Ariana, what are you doing here situation?
Exactly. Oh my God.
Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah. It reminds me, you know why this bothers me so much too? Because I take a lot of group fitness classes. And it just reminds me of when you go into the class and all of a sudden, it's a sub. And what does the sub have? Music with no words or silence at certain parts of the class. Or I need to be held hands when I'm doing a minute plank.
Right.
I cannot sit here with no 808 and counting myself to 60. I can't do it. I need something.
I need Pitbull kind of up there at the ready.
Oh my God. So it reminds me of that every time and it just drives me nuts. Anyway.
Damn. Right. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so we cut to Ali in the hospital. His chest is stitched closed, so who knows what happened to him.
Zero clue. I think that was maybe his like rock bottom is kind of what we're meant to understand. Yep.
But no idea like what he got or like did his family leave him? Where'd they go? I guess we don't care. I guess they're just gone. Bye. Like, whatever.
Right. That part is sad and makes me frustrated about him as a character that we're not clued in at all. But again, like maybe that does feel realistic for people who have addiction issues of like their families do cut them off and there's not really much they can do about it, which is why he's of service to so many other people.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we go into the montage of all of his sponsees and then a lot of the people who passed away in COVID. There's always little nuggets that Sam puts in that I feel like, oh, that's true. Because I remember in New York City how many people died that weren't on record as dying of COVID. They just died in their house. And how much that went up in New York when COVID hit. And so we don't know if those people died of COVID. We don't know if those people died of depression. We have no idea. But the amount of just dead people in their house went up by astronomical numbers during COVID. I'll never forget that article.
So sad when he like discovers them and someone has hanged themselves, and we just kind of see his grief and how that scene did make me very much empathize with people with addiction issues. I think like if you're not someone with addiction issues and you don't really have community of people who have addiction issues, it's very hard to put yourself in their shoes. But I think like him being very clear that his kind of goal in life is to be there for other people, and how many people you lose when you're in community with people with addiction issues.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember this too with couples therapy. Do you watch the show Couples Therapy?
I've dabbled in clips, but I've never watched the full show. Listen, it feels intense to me. I don't know. I feel like it feels like it's a little too stressful to watch other couples fight. Will I probably binge the whole series at one point? Okay. Sure. I just haven't gotten there yet because we talked about this before I started recording. Been watching Hacks, been watching this show, been reading books. But I'm intrigued by it. I'll say that.
It is me and Natasha's favorite show. It's my comfort show. I actually put it on when I'm sad. Yes, I'm very comforted by the show itself.
Wait, could you tell me why?
Proves that people, no matter their path, no matter their past, no matter what has happened to them or their patterns that they've had previously, that people can change.
Wow, that's hopeful.
Very. Can they change? Only with the help of the best therapist in New York State? Yes. Right? Yes. But they can.
Orla, is that her name?
Dr. Orna Galernick.
Orna.
But season 3 was the COVID season, and they had an addict on as was one of the couples. And I remember he was an alcoholic, and it hit me when we rewatched that season, Natasha and I, that how big alcohol culture was during COVID. I remember drinking so much, like every day.
We'd be like, it's 3:58 p.m. Time for a cocktail. just drinking mad cocktails.
Yes. Oh my God! I remember my like walk out. I was at a roadie. Oh, is that a little something? It was so pervasive,
completely,
and so siloed during that time.
Because what the fuck else were we gonna do? You know, like. And it's a good point of like, you just don't know how something like that, even though it can be affecting you in a really hard way, how that's affecting other people based on their experiences with addiction, with a breakup, with depression. You know, there are just so many things that can be happening in our lives. And as people, we're in survival mode. So like, it's normal for us to feel anxious that like this thing at work didn't go well, or my knee's been bothering me for a little bit too long, but like, trust, it can always be a lot worse. And like, just me, I have a lot of empathy for people who have really challenging experiences like that.
Yeah, same. Okay, so Big Eddie is back out of the hospital. He now has a colostomy bag, and he now has to correct that he fucked up. Why he went back to this man after he has this colostomy bag, I don't know.
Maybe he's like indebted to him, or he feels like Alma would have like killed him if he didn't come back or something.
Has to. Yeah, he has to. But I'm like, these people really have no way out with this guy. And I guess we see all the IDs in the safe later. So I guess that's like, he's keeping track of these people pretty well. He's got a system.
Right. We gotta revisit that shit later. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God. So they need to take one of Lori's Nazis to the Big Eddie's Road to Redemption, Alamo's calling it. He's got a walker. He's got a colostomy bag. He is falling apart, Big Eddie. But he is ready to drive to Mexico with Kitty and one of the other girls as well to give them a quote-unquote BBL, which I think is something else. Rue is at Lexi's house and is doing a whole monologue about how she believes in God, not taking Lexi's direction that she needs to work seriously at all.
Lexi's like, shut up,
Needs
please.
online therapy so bad. Any online therapy situation so bad. Even ChatGPT, just talk to it. Or just a voice note to yourself. Like just sitting there yakking.
The funny thing is, Lexi's like the most normal part about this show. I don't think that Maude Apatow is that good of an actress, to be honest with you. I think she is just Judd Apatow and Leslie Mann's kid, so that's why she's in the show. But she's not terrible, but I just think that she kind of is serving as like the straight man of this whole thing, of her being like, have you guys lost your fucking minds? Like, this is insane. And like us as the viewer, we're supposed to be like, yes, it is insane, but we're thinking it's insane for two different reasons. Like we're on a different plane of why this is also insane. But I do feel like Lexi is meant to serve as like the norm of like maybe what actually does happen to people after they graduate from high school.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So she told Lexi she's working with the DEA. Why? I don't know.
Such a bad mistake. Really bad.
I mean, I guess they gave her the clear last week to be like, well, we might see you in jail or not. Bye. Like, so I guess she feels okay to talk about it. And I guess she feels like Lexi will never get to Alamo. So she can tell Lexi?
Boy, was she wrong.
I know. Oh, my God.
Boy, was she wrong.
And then Lexi says something heinous to Rue. She says, no wonder your mom doesn't talk to you anymore. When Rue was just ranting, which was so mean.
Very
mean.
My
God.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, wee. That's one thing that Sam got really right first 2 seasons and really wrong this season is how mean girls are to each other in friendship. The person who does this, one of the best men who does this is Mike White. I think he does a great job.
God, so good in the White Lotus. Really
in all
good
3
stuff.
seasons. I think he does women's friendships
Agreed.
Like, really, really well. But Sam, this was, I don't know if your friend would say this to you like this. I don't think she'd be this mean.
I mean, maybe we're meant to think that like Lexi's just kind of at the end of her rope. Her sister like took over this role that she didn't want her to. She's like, you know, Rue's taking over her apartment. Like none of her friends are normal. They're all just doing like crazy shit. And she doesn't really seem, truly to me, like other than Rue, she doesn't really seem to have any friends.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I think that she's kind of like a siloed, like lonely career person. And I don't know, I'm sure that she said that because she wanted to be mean. And maybe there's also part of it of her being on the receiving end of, you know, Rue's lies and like the anger that's built up over that time of, you know, Rue being an addict. And people say really mean shit like that sometimes.
True. Yeah. I'm sure people get to the end of their rope. So somebody's in Cassie's apartment with a silencer and a gun. So Cassie's in trouble. Nas to say the least. Nas calls Cassie as Maddie is getting fired from her corporate job from her side gigs. Maddie finds Cassie. Cassie's crying on the floor, bundled up, because Nas asked her for the money. She deleted her OnlyFans and you can't get it back. Now, Danielle, I tried to look this up. I was watching this last night at midnight, so I was having a hard time finding out. If you delete your OnlyFans account, can you get it back? Is it impossible to get your account back?
That's such a good question. My assumption is that for the layperson, it's not possible. But if you're someone with influence and who knows somebody at the company, anything can happen.
That's what I'm saying.
That's my guess, but I'm pretty sure all the information that you'd be able to find online says, you know, just so their asses are protected at OnlyFans, they say, no, you cannot get your profile back once you delete it. But I don't think she gets her profile back.
No, she doesn't.
Right? And then she maybe builds her new profile and gets all those subs.
Yeah, I was questioning this too because we've been on Patreon now for 7 years. And I'm like, if we delete our Patreon account, like we could just call blah, blah, blah and get it back. But that's because we can call blah, 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 you know, like, and I'm,
you got to connect.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Cassie would have the same, some account manager or something that she would be able to call. She would just be on 1-800 OnlyFans on customer service, like trying to get it back. Like,
I mean, she tried. She did try to do that. I think that her account, I think this is what's funny and maybe a little bit realistic. If her account's not big enough compared to Sydney Sweeney's account would be the biggest account on there. Cassie's account is not the biggest account on there. She is probably an average, probably an average OnlyFans content creator. And so what does OnlyFans have the incentive to do that? It's all, it's all about if they get money, they get marketing, right? And so if Cassie's account isn't big enough, I could see a world where she wouldn't be able to get her account back.
And even she, as the character, is so silly to think that if she just like logs back in, all her subscribers will be there. And obviously she would log back in and have 0 subscribers.
God, Sam Levinson just loves to make Cassie just like the dumbest woman in America. Can we talk about that?
Okay, Danielle, the way that I describe it to everybody, the most clear example to me of her stupidity is when she was so excited to get the role of job applicant number 3. And she was like, I'm going to be a household name. I'm going to be a household name. She's supposed to be from 65 miles outside of Los Angeles, right? I am 12 miles outside of New York City. If I was 24 and I got the Broadway role of sheep number 12 at the Nutcracker, I would not think, oh my God, I'm going to be famous. I would not think that, right? To make this character that naive and also from that close to Los Angeles does not make any sense.
It's pretty dumb. I think that they're making it so clear that, like, again, they're trying to parody the situation, not a parody. Like, it's coming across exactly as is. And like same shit with the OnlyFans scenes and with her filming content. It's like, okay, we're in like minute 8 of like seeing this woman's boobs on HBO. Like, can this be like a little smarter?
What do you think about the OnlyFans scenes in the very beginning of the show? With the scenarios that she was creating.
I mean, of her, I know that a lot of those things are true. Like, men do like to be rated of what their dicks look like. They do want to hear their names in ASMR. They do want dirty underwear shipped to them. So, like, I do think those things felt realistic to me. I just am frustrated with the like complete lack of agency that all of these women have, essentially. Like, Lexi feels like the only person really in the show with agency. And I don't care about her. Just don't give a shit about her. And she's like not really a central character. She's basically a side character in order to serve, again, as the straight man in this entire thing. And so I just think that while some of the OnlyFans scenes were realistic and some of them could be seen as funny, I guess, I just feel overall like the writers and Sam Levinson are hammering home this point of this is a dumb broad. Like, she is only being valued for her body. And the only person who is seemingly in charge and aware of the scenario and aware of this dynamic is Maddie. And she's portrayed as this very like masculine boss-like character who literally in this episode slaps Cassie around in order to make her money. And even she is objectified by Alamo. There's no escape for these women. Like, they are claustrophobic. They are trapped in their teeny tiny bodies.
Yes. Wow.
Right?
Yes.
That's a whole other thing that we can talk about and get into. Like, I'm not one to want to comment on women's bodies. It is stark to not, though.
Distracting.
It's quite distracting to see collarbones.
How small these people are. It is very, very distracting.
Correct.
And yeah, I totally agree with you about the agency thing. And even Lexi feels like she has no agency because her female boss is like, no, do this, no, do that. Even Maddie with her like very masculine and like powerful persona outside of the office was still cleaning Chihuahua shit off of the carpet and her job. Like, they are always being demeaned and put in their place constantly every female character in the show, which is really sad to watch. And
even when Cassie like makes this money, right?
Yes,
it's supposed to go to Nate's debts.
Yep. Because they're married.
It's just the classic. It's just the classic thing of like, oh, like we're subverting norms by, letting this woman have the money and the power, even if she's using her body, even if she's selling herself. And yet that's not even her money because she needs to be giving it to pay off Nate's debts. And the ultimate fuck you is the fact that she's done all of this. She's, threatened by these men. And she, I guess the part that's confusing is she didn't wire the Armenian boss any money.
Yeah, she didn't wire him any money like that day. Yeah.
Right. But it's like, if you got a finger in the nail, you're Venmoing $10 at a time. Like, you're trying to make sure that if you love this man, like you don't, I think, again, like, is she just portrayed as this dummy head who doesn't care at all about this? And yet she goes to Maddie, and Maddie is indebted now to Alamo. And at the end of the day, guess what? Nate is dead. So all of this was for naught.
For nothing.
Oh. Just we whisper.
Like, because I just can't believe it. And I guess it was all for like those flowers at that stupid tacky wedding.
Jesus Christ.
I guess that was it. I guess that's all she got. That's all she had. She's not even, I haven't seen a wedding photo album yet. I haven't seen a picture yet of that wedding. So I don't.
I mean, what's confusing / interesting is like, did she even love him? Like, or she just kind of loved the idea of being married to him and the money? Like, again, like what is her motivation? It's very unclear. I think maybe it was that she enjoyed the OnlyFans. Like, we see her kind of pout when she does delete the account.
Yeah.
Even she maybe didn't even want to do that. So we're made to believe that this person is an empowered sex worker who likes what she was doing. And yet her ultimate goal was to do this in order to pay back Nate's debts. So like it's not as empowering as we might think.
And then she's dumb enough to delete her account because someone said she'll be a star one day.
Right? Like super naive.
It's supposed to be that level of naive. Working with Maddie. I just can't. Right. Oh my God. And I've said this previously on these episodes. It really makes me mad when certain communities in any kind of kink are exploited the way that Sam Levinson had Cassie exploit baby, furry, like all these other communities that I'm like, these people have checks and balances. You can't just put up on OnlyFans that you look like a baby with a pacifier in your mouth and expect all the people who love to shit in a diaper come and subscribe to you. That's not how that works.
They have a lot of follow-ups before they hit that subscribe button.
There's a lot of rules and like entry places. Yes. You can't just dress up in a Spider-Man costume and go to the furry thing at the park. You got to sign up for that shit. Right. This is an Eventbrite. You got to sign up for this.
Right. And you're right in that it also is like making a mockery out of the communities.
Yeah.
Just this idea. And we see that mockery play out with Cassie's friend, right? She is supposed to serve as the person who says, like, why would you dress up as a baby? That's disgusting.
Yeah. Right.
And so we're meant to think, oh yeah, we're on the friend side. Like there's no way to like kind of give credence to these communities or like let them be.
Yeah, just let them live
who they are. They're just let them be. It either is like we're mocking it by having Cassie kind of just take these random pictures and think that she can be a part of these communities and make money in this way, or we have to choose the friend who's saying that's gross, that's disgusting, that's weird. And I feel like the average HBO viewer who watches this show, they're not sex positive necessarily people. They're not necessarily people who are educators or are aware of these dynamics, and they're going to be more likely to go with friend. And that's how stigma is perpetuated.
Exactly. Yeah. That really made me mad at the very beginning. That like insulted the kink community. I was like, just leave them alone. They're not doing anything. Like, just chill, man.
Leave them alone.
God. So Cassie, in order after she gets slapped literally by her pimp Maddie, she
Right, exactly.
she goes and is on a date with this guy, Dylan Reed, the actor. She goes on a date with him, gets caught by paparazzi, pours 2 shots, and takes a selfie with him, and then has one of the most exaggerated, wild sex scenes I've ever seen on film.
Like, why did they do that? It's just, again, to further prove that we as the audience are meant to see this person as a full service sex worker with no agency. Like we're meant to see her, like, see, she's a slut. She's a whore. Like, that's what's implicated by her doing this scene. And she's like pretending like she's, why is she written that way? Can you answer that? What's going on, Justine? I just don't get it.
It feels so unnecessary. And she gets even more plastic when this man goes into her refrigerator, gets some ice, and gets a finger in his cup because she just left the finger in the ice machine. Like that.
Right. And she goes, oh, who moved that? Like, come on. Come on. We know that she's capable of more than just
she would put it in at least a Ziploc bag. At least.
Put it in a Ziploc. Please.
She would just toss it in the ice machine. Like,
oh my God. And she proceeds to then completely violate this person's media. And breaks into his phone and then posts a picture of the two of them that says best fuck, world's best fuck.
Yeah. That's a way to get your account back.
Like completely exploits this person. And that was a whole other section of fucked up.
What do you think about Cassie exploiting him back?
Because he exploited her first.
And Cassie is exploited first, right? As a character in general. And this is her only time that she gets it back.
Did he exploit her before, though? That
character, no. That other guy, Brandon or whatever his name was,
character,
not him. The Twitch streamer, yes, though. The Twitch streamer did for sure.
Right. Sure. I would feel okay if it was that guy, right. But I kind of feel bad. I don't know. This guy. We have no reason to believe that this guy should be exploited back. And it's not even like she's doing it because she has been exploited. She's doing it in order to get ahead.
To pay off Nate's debts.
But at the same time, I feel like it's really just for herself. Like, she sees the number of over 100,000 subscribers that she has and her eyes are alight with excitement. But it's not because she gets the money to pay back Nate's debts. She's not talking about Nate at all. It's really her own exploration into being a sex worker. And if she actually did have some real fucking agency, then maybe that would be interesting. But she doesn't. And so that's why I find that the whole her exploiting that guy to be less compelling.
And as you said, she hasn't mentioned Nate once. And so it's not believable that she loves him. Yeah.
Right. I feel like she is mainly doing the marrying Nate thing, doing the $50,000 flower thing for status, for being the housewife, for marrying into money. Because it's not clear to me at all that her character is actually in love with this person. I think she's in love with the idea of being married and being a rich housewife.
But then also turns around and wants to be a rich sex worker. Which, to my understanding, are two very different ladies. Right?
Right. I mean, I'm sure we would be shocked about the overlap of the way, and the third trifecta here in the Venn diagram of religious women.
Yes.
There's like religious women who are kind of peddling, like, certain types of content. And then once they kind of veer into sex work, there's kind of a new kind of woman. But rest assured, many of them are and want to be housewives.
Right.
And so I do think it's an interesting an interesting thing. And not to say that like all sex workers want to be housewives, but I think the way in which that Cassie is being portrayed, she does kind of want to have her cake and eat it too. Of like, I want to be the woman who's at home, and I also simultaneously want my housekeeper ? Please just hire an assistant.
Right.
This is not this woman's job.
I don't want to.
Taking pictures of her dressing up in dog costumes and baseball outfits and ice cream. Like, there's just so many things that are going on here.
Yeah.
And it's confusing, like what her actual motivation is, because she's creating content, but to what end when she first starts creating it?
Because she goes to such an extreme. Okay, so every single episode, we have come up with a way to make this show better in the writer's room, right? And I think from launching from what you just said, what I would have loved to see is Cassie jump into content creation in a way that almost like Nara Smith jumped into content creation. Because I find Nara Smith, her voice, her angles, her clothing to be very sexy. That's not her real voice, right?
So she's putting it on. She's a character.
She is a character. She is her body is like on display a lot, despite her Mormon religion. Her voice is very, to me, very like sexy, and even her intro. My husband really wanted me to make this, da 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 da. That, and even the way that they use.
My husband woke up for a hankering of marshmallows today. Just fucking baby,
sexy baby, right? And even the way that her and her husband used to interact on camera, filthy. The way they used to interact on camera, like all over each other, like just all like crazy. Yeah, it was really. They stopped.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they stopped because so many people parodied them, and it ended up being like they were a joke of themselves.
Sure,
but they used to be like a very sexy woman, right? I would have loved Cassie to go there and then have Maddie convince her to go to OnlyFans.
Right. Like it's this kind of like PG-13 content that, like I feel so many feelings about women creating content like this on the internet. I think that it's fascinating to me because it potentially opens the door. Again, for me, it's about like agency and money and ability to make your own decisions. And with creating content like that, if you're the one that creates the content, you're the one that makes the brand deals, you get the money, and you're just playing a game of this is our society. I'm going to, optimize myself in order to make money off of this. Is that going to fix the system? No, it's not. You're playing into it, which is not ideal, but we're all just playing the cards that we were dealt. And I don't think that we should fault these women for creating this kind of content. I think that the problem lies, though, in the fact that as soon as it becomes OnlyFans content, kind of what we did see in this episode of Euphoria, where the head of the show goes to her boss and they have this very frank conversation of, I don't think the girl with the porn should be in there. And the director, showrunner is like, you're right. I don't give a shit about this enough, right? Like, it's that easy that people write you off. And so I think that the danger is, sure, we can pretend like, if you are making the content and you're getting the money and you have the agency, then that's all good. But we're not done with the stigma that comes with being an OnlyFans sex worker or creating content on OnlyFans. And I do think that people get blackballed. And I and other sexual health professionals have felt 1% of what this feels like just by talking about sex on the internet. And just by getting shadow banned and our content flagged and our content outright banned and our profiles taken away. And I think that if more people understood like the actual consequences of stigma and shame, they would actually try, hopefully, my hope is that people are good people at the end of the day, to check themselves and really ask themselves, why is this content different? And why is it quote unquote deplorable when really people are buying it? People want it. It's sex work is the oldest profession in the world. And so to me, it's like, it's such a nuanced, important conversation. But to your point, like, it would have been interesting to see Cassie succeed and do this and actually be able to like make her own money instead of it the entire time belonging to me.
Yeah. And see her chase the housewife dream and just putting it online. Like, just like making this kind of like fake persona of her being this trad wife, this very sexy trad wife in this very weird 70s house. And
the house is so weird. Why is the house so 70s? Weird.
She was like wearing clothes akin to the house. Her luggage looked like the house. I think that would have been really.
Maybe they're making a point. They're making a point that like this is a 70s relationship. Like this is how he quote unquote, you know, has control over her. And I don't know. Maybe it feels a little strange that is related, but maybe.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a far shot, but I think that's what they're trying to do. But I think it would have been cool to see her filming around her weird, stupid-looking house in a weird, stupid-looking outfit and probably make no brand deals and just have people watching her and just have like fame and no money and then have Maddie come in and be like, well, here's how you can make some money.
And then you monetize,
and then she just like falls into this like alt-right OnlyFans like crazy hole.
Right. Oh my. Right? Okay. Speaking of alt-right, when she's on, we get this glimpse of like her being the like real Sydney Sweeney fucking jeans girl, where in the show she's like, I think that men really deserve to have a voice, and like, you know, you think it's a parody, babe. Maybe that's what she actually thinks in real life. And many of these women genuinely think this in real life. So like, it's not fucking funny. It's not funny when it's true and you're trying to act like it's not true.
And so many of those girls, have you watched the Manosphere documentary on Netflix at all?
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's fine. But a lot of the girls who are like behind the scenes in these Twitch streamers videos and stuff like that, they actually don't feel this way, and they actually don't need to do that kind of promo because all they need to do is just be in the background with big boobs and have their thing on their shirt, their handle, and they're their subscribers. They don't really like need to do that level of PR that that Cassie was doing on the show. It felt I know. It felt like an excuse to have Trisha Paytas in there. It felt right. It felt like
it's like, girl, what are you doing? Get out of here.
It's just so silly. It's it felt really unnecessary. Oh, cat.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a little kitty here. Yeah, I think that we are meant to believe as the viewer that Cassie is just like any one of these other kinds of women who have created content and are getting famous on OnlyFans and therefore have these MAGA principles and are male apologists,
that's where it goes wild.
Or what have you. Again, which it's like, okay, now she has an opinion. She doesn't know how to tie her shoes. You're making her seem like the dumbest person in the world, and all of a sudden she has an opinion about men. Like, get out of here. I don't buy it. I just don't.
Me either. And it never comes up again. He's so annoying in these long episodes. It still never comes up again.
Just so that one should have been cut on the cutting room floor. That scene. We didn't need that.
Oh my God. Anyway, so now Cassie's famous. She got 100,000 followers. She's back. And Dylan, who knows what's going to happen to Dylan? I guess I know.
Poor
he's
guy.
just a casualty. Nate and Nas are talking. Nas is making a custom coffin for Nate. So he's getting ready to be buried alive.
Woof.
Did you see the picture?
Also, am I wrong? Am I missing something? Did Dylan do something weird? He was just in that one scene. He was like fine, right? Yeah. He was just an actor who was like improvising with her in that one scene. And he was Maddie. Oh, wait a minute. JK, I'm remembering a scene where he was yelling about the fact that he was Dylan, that he deserved work during COVID. Never mind. Exploit him right up. Never mind. I forgot about that one little scene. So there's no one redeemable in this show.
No,
basically.
That's why it's rough to watch.
Tough. All right, keep going, please. Sorry to interrupt you.
So Ali and Rue are talking, and Rue needs Ali's help to protect her mom while she goes on another run. She promises this is her last one. And if she doesn't go to Lori's, that she's going to go to what she calls the promised land, which is the homestead in Texas. And that family,
where we started the season.
I said last week, I was like, where's that family? They should be back here. Where are they? Where's that little like bad bitch one with the apron on? Like who dropped her off at the bus. Like, where's she?
The cool girl. Right. Maybe she'll end there. Maybe that's where she'll end up.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like she's going to end up dead because I feel like Zendaya doesn't want anything to do with Sam Levinson ever again. But that's my prediction, is that Rue has to die because Zendaya doesn't want to do this no more. But
I mean, that's fair. She's ready to move on to Spider-Man 6, whatever the hell is going on.
Yep. Dune 8. Like, she's ready to just do all the rest of these franchises.
The drama, too. Loved the drama. Very good.
Oh, my God. And we go to the club, and this is where we find out that Kitty is going to Mexico and getting her BBL, which we know is obviously not going to happen.
It's not.
Oh, my God. So the DEA is on tap on Big Eddie's phone. They are with him when he's going to Lori's to pick up the guy. She's got the two girls in the back, and he's ready to drive to Mexico. Rue is dropped off by Marshawn Lynch. I forget his name in the show. I think it's a letter. I think it's like G or something.
He's fucking funny. I like him.
I love that he's made this much money off of just his personality, just being.
I mean, I'm happy for him. He really is funny, dude.
I like him a lot. And I just like how he just like involves himself in stuff just for fun. Like, why is he in every episode of Euphoria?
Like, why is he in every single episode? He's like, you're walking like your booty stank. I thought that was so funny.
So Rue is going to Lori's. Who knew it was this long of a walk? And this cowboy. That's why this Western theme is like so annoying. Like, why is it this long, dusty walk to Lori's house? This drug dealer would live all the way out here. I feel like no.
With her million birds and her Nazi pals.
Like the Nazis, they live all the I don't. Oh my God, it gets on my nerves.
It's quite
very, very confusing. We are at Cassie's apartment. She opens the door without looking, and it is one of Naz's guys tying her up and explaining the situation. We go back to where Nate is buried, and Nate is screaming through a tiny, tiny breath hole. This is when I hit me, and it was like, oh, this is a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
The level of feeling like you're in the coffin too.
Trapped.
Oh my God, It was like really
scary, quite
very stressful, very well shot. Very well acted by Jacob. And
he is a good actor. Yep. He really is.
Yep. And his family's looking for him. They can't hear him through the breath hole. It's very stressful.
I didn't like that at all.
And the rattlesnake is the only one who hears him. Goes down there and goes to get him. Got him.
I was looking literally at the TV with my hands over my eyes during that entire part.
Same. Did you see the pictures of Jacob Elordi hanging out the coffin, cheesing like he just won the lottery?
No, I haven't.
That man was so ready to be done with this show. He was so happy to die and film this last scene. Oh my God.
That's so funny. That's good. Wow.
So now Cassie has put Maddie on the phone with Naz because she always needs a boss. She needs somebody to tell her what to do. And she says, I need $1 million right now. And
crazy. Okay, wait. Here's the confusing part. If she had just gotten a shit ton of subscribers, where's all that money? All those people had to pay for a month. What's going on there?
It doesn't hit your account until whatever day, until the 5th or...
But she didn't make any of her... What about all of her money she previously made from OnlyFans? Like, where has that gone? That's very... they didn't make that clear whatsoever.
Did she spend it on, what's it called? On all of her dildos? I know those aren't cheap.
Perhaps.
But...
Listen, especially the big ones.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Because she was wiring him $30,000 a week and stuff. So I don't know where that money went.
Right.
Oh my God. Anyway, so Maddie is at Alamo's ready to just try to negotiate this $1 million deal. Alamo picked out a bathing suit for her. It is agent provocateur. I looked up the costume because Maddie has the.
That was very
so
cool.
Fabulous. She looked fabulous this episode. Oh my
She
God.
She did.
And she is something interesting that Magic, Rosalia's character, said, you should trade 1,000 bad days for a good life.
I heard that and I was like, whoa, that happened so quick. And then they cut. And I was like, whoa, oh, I guess that part's over. But I did clock that. What did you think about that part?
I thought it was interesting that someone who is in Alamo's clutches, who is bilingual, who gets away with a lot. She's getting away with wearing this collar. Like, she's getting away with, like,
the bedazzled neck brace.
And, like, cursing everybody out all the time. Like, somebody who is seemingly, like, in the middle of the deal, making a lot of money for Alamo, is just, like, doling out this advice, like, girl to girl, just do it. Because I'm almost at the end. I'm almost here. And if you're smart enough, you can get to a good life.
Yeah. I think that just going on our thesis of, like, lack of agency, right? It's like, we're almost there. We almost get these women agency. And then inevitably it's like, yeah, like Rosalia, her character Magic, fantastic, by the way. Like, very well acted, super fun to watch. You know, they're still under Alamo's thumb. So even if they're precocious and they mouth off and they're able to kind of like do the kind of gigs they want to do, they're not free. And I think that this quote almost even means kind of like we're like kind of not, I think imprisoned is a little strong, but I do think like, no, they are. I think like coerced, you know, like indebted, like whatever word that you want to use. Like, we have seen, and we will talk about this at the end, what he does to women who don't listen to him and what he does to women who aren't in line, women who are addicts. Like, they very much are in his shackles. And sure, we hear Magic say this, but it's like, she's not at the end of the 1,000 days yet. So like, she has a long way to go potentially. And like, we don't know if he would ever
let her go. She's got so many trap doors to escape before she gets out and has this quote unquote good life. Man, damn, Magic. Yeah, so tough. Oh my God. So Rue, Lori, and the rednecks are all there sitting around by the fire. This is even exaggerated. Like,
just like a wild scene.
It's just wild. Shits. Yeah, and these people, I understand these people are drugged out, so their brains are mush, right? So like they sitting around like discussing this manifesto and like talking to Rue like she's crazy. Maybe I can go there, but it's just like very, very long. So this is where we find out what Alamo is doing to the girls. This is the most important part of the scene, I think.
Yes.
Lori reveals that Alamo is taking these girls, giving them breast implants, giving them BBLs, and paralyzing their tongues with Botox. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, because you say things, right, like trafficking. We say things like organ farming. We say these things that are like not by any means PC, but they're very generic. Putting it into a really specific situation like this really made it like very horror filmy and very scary. So that's what happened presumably to Angel, the girl who went to quote unquote rehab, and is what's going to happen to Kitty. Poor Kitty.
So the idea here is that he's paralyzing their tongues with Botox to kill them?
To make them not be able to speak or, again, have any kind of, well, whatever is being done to them.
Because we don't see Angel again, or at least we haven't seen her yet. But what an evil thing.
Yep. And the only indication of him being that evil, again, is it's a woman's fault. It's his mother's fault. Not that he's born a literal sociopath, which obviously he's a sociopath, right? I've said before.
Doesn't care about other people's pain.
I've said before he's written very similarly to Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano was obviously a sociopath, but he had that female therapist who exposed his sociopathic ways to us, the audience.
Right, exactly. Dr. Melfi, gotta love her.
And this guy, Alamo, we're just supposed to believe he's a sociopath because his mom lied to him? Not that he was like, what? Right. Oh my God, so aggravating. Anyway. Right?
Wow. That's an interesting tie. But the thing is with Kitty, it's like, what the hell did she do? Why
I don't even know why Kitty's in the show.
She's kind of like a main character. Like, she's in a lot of the scenes. And we don't have to get into it because it was a previous episode, but like gratuitous sexual assault scene with those just completely unnecessary. Just like, don't do that ever for no reason. Why? What is the purpose of that?
There was none. That is actually...
They're just reminding us over and over again that these women don't matter.
Exactly. That is actually the first indication that this is horror. That scene.
Yeah.
That was a horror movie for any woman watching.
Completely unnecessary and traumatizing and confusing as to why it's so heavy-handed. Like, do they think we don't understand the power dynamic that these women are in?
I guess that too.
Are we dumb dummy heads? I just don't understand. I just don't get it. Like, they're talking down to us to be like, see, she's getting sexually assaulted by 10 men. Do you get it? It's like, yeah, you didn't need to do that. Like, it really kind of made me hate everything. It left a very strong taste in my mouth.
Same. Well, we get to another sexual assault with Alamo and Maddie. So,
Jesus Christ.
Just another one here. And we get to this point where Alamo and Maddie, they're kind of like, they're having a little conversation back and forth. She gets into the pool and she starts talking about Rue. And she starts talking about how Rue is dealing with Nazis in the DEA. Maddie would never be this dumb.
She's too smart for that.
Maddie, who orchestrates who goes on dates with who and who gets exposed versus not, and her level of relationship management is insane. She only got fired because of Cassie's dumb ass decisions. Like, she is so calculated and so smart. She would never do this, and yet here she is doing this.
Agreed. There's really no reason to believe that she would say something like that unless you want to make the leap that, like, because Cassie is threatened and gonna die if she doesn't get $1 million, that she's like rattled.
Maybe.
But she doesn't seem rattled. She seems completely herself. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it seemed even like a moment where she like shed that boss persona and she was like, like kind of complaining to somebody about Rue again, doing this stuff again. And I'm like, what? You don't even interact with Rue that much. Why are you complaining? It's like, what?
You guys aren't even friends.
Yeah.
The confusing, or I guess it's not confusing, sad. I will say the sad and frustrating part about that scene is that Maddie, to this point, is one of the few women who, even though, she's cleaning up the dog shit and she is being put in her place, at least we are meant to believe that Maddie believes that she has agency.
Right.
And that she is someone who is strong, who has, a voice, who has a perspective, who, again, is, even though she's like incredibly feminine and always has makeup and always has a teeny dress on, like, is masculine. Like, she is serving as like the masculine boss of these women. And this is where it all falls down, where we are made to think, nope, not even Maddie can even have the agency that we're seeking for one woman in the show to have.
Yep. So then Alamo says, like, come here and tell me about it. And she really fucked this guy. Like, she really fucked this guy and owes him $1 million on account of Cassie. I don't think that would ever happen either. On the power of friendship, you know how good of friends I gotta be with somebody to do this?
I mean, do you think there's a world where she doesn't do it?
No.
I don't think so either. I think she is loyal, even though she is very angry at Cassie and sees Cassie as dollar signs. I do think that she's a loyal person.
Yeah. And she has, as we saw in the wedding scene of her like staring at Nate and Cassie dance, it's not like she doesn't have any feelings, you know?
Right.
So she does. She is then put in beautiful framing of her standing against the wall with the 3 deer heads with a fabulous Ed Hardy dress on. Fantastic.
with the Mary
dress
on
it. Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful costuming. Wonderful direction and scene work there. Beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Beautiful makeup as well,
Agreed.
Donnie. Great.
Yeah. In film school, back to my BA, we call that the mise en scène, where it's everything that's going on before the camera starts rolling. Okay. So it's like if you were to take a photo of it, essentially, and the angles and the costuming and the hair and the makeup and the set and the colors and everything else that's going on. That was the reason why I got a BA in film, to be able to say mise en scène on this podcast.
Oh my God. So they reach Cassie's destination and Alamo says, it's your deal, go do it. So she goes with this.
He makes her do it.
So she's going in these mules, these fabulous suede mules, walking down the thing.
Oh,
and
God.
At this point, and I'm looking at Cassie tied up in this stupid pink dress, and I'm like, how did these 2 Romy and Michelle ass bitches from high school get into this situation? Like, how is this possible that they're in between these 2 people? Like,
oh
what?
my God.
Oh my God. I can't handle it. And I also want.
And the most.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was just going to say the ultimate fuck you is Cassie is tied up with her hands behind her back in heels and a teeny tiny dress, and they make her bend down backwards to pick up the money.
Yeah. Yep. The worst. Oh my God. And I was just, at that point, I was like, this would never, come on, guys. Like, this is like, I can't crazy go here with this. And then we get another, wah, 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 and we get Alamo stepping out of the car with his cowboy hat on,
with his gold gun.
And his gold A belt, ready to,
yep.
Oh my God. And he shoots Nas as soon as Nas opens up the bags and finds cards. Doesn't even find any money in there. There's no money.
Oh, did we see that? I don't remember if we saw that. Oh,
it was just a bag of playing cards, which is interesting. And, symbolism or whatever. But it also means that Maddie did all that for nothing. So now Maddie owes Alamo $1 million that he didn't even give her.
He didn't even
What world is it that she wouldn't know what was in that bag? Danielle?
Plus 20%.
Plus 20% interest, yeah.
So she owes her 1.2. Yeah. She owes him 1.2 million. Plus the fact that she just had to watch someone get murdered.
Yeah. On account of Cassie.
And plus, it was all for nothing because Nate is dead.
Then they pull Nate out and he is just rotted. Again, shout out to Donnie Davy. Great makeup.
Great makeup. And it's interesting that you reminded me about the Botox and the tongue, because his tongue is all swollen.
Yeah.
And there's like some sort of theme here where like this is the only time that we see Nate unable to have agency, and it's literally at the end of his life. With his tongue literally being too big for his mouth.
There's got to be something there biblically.
God, I as a Jewess, I don't know the background of that, but I trust. I believe you.
There's a lot of like very obvious like God, hey, Christian God in this series.
A lot. Most of
it from Rue, yeah, and then a little bit from Alamo too with the pigs and like all that stuff. But yeah, the tongue. Now that I'm thinking about, there's got to be something with the tongue in a Bible verse. The only one I can think of is life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's the only verse I can think of. But anybody put down below, put on Patreon. What verse do you think it is that Sam's talking about? I feel like he's flipping to the verses, opening it up and say, boop, okay, that one. I feel like it's not that serious.
We'll choose this one today. Yeah. Exactly.
So now Nas is dead. That's great, but so is Nate. So bye, Jacob.
And the other guy, the Armenian dude, the other guy's not dead. What's going to happen with him? He was just violent.
Yeah.
And we're going to let him go? We're killing him? What's the deal?
I could see Alamo finding a use for a guy like that. I could see it isn't working for him. Yeah.
That's true.
Then we cut to Faye and Rue. Rue is woken up by Faye, who seems to be drugged out. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Faye is so scary to me.
Right?
I think that she's kind of meant to look like this like Coraline character, and I just can't. It's hard for me to like watch her sometimes because of like how intense she is.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah, the bodies on this show are a lot. They are a lot.
That's hard because I understand that we're not supposed to judge other people's bodies. Like, I get that. And that's true. And at the same time, I do think it's worth mentioning that millions and millions of people, and many of them women, watch this show. And it, once again, like, it's not a parody if all of these things are real in real life.
Exactly. So watching this, if you have the HBO login with commercials and then seeing 3 Row.co commercials with Serena Williams telling you to lose weight, it doesn't feel, and even having all the girls' bodies be the same. All of the girls' bodies are tiny.
And the only person who had a different body on the show, Barbie Ferreira, and she is someone who has been publicly, seen as someone who has lost a bunch of weight. And it's, I don't know, I do think in a lot of ways with the trad wife thing, with the, body neutrality that has kind of like not exist anymore with the, it's fucked. It's just like with Ozempic, we are, I feel, in a lot of ways going backwards. And so I do find it tricky to not talk about bodies when I think it's important that we recognize what is happening and what is expected of women in 2026.
Yeah, that's it, is the expectation that I really have a hard time with when I'm critiquing the images of bodies that I'm seeing, is because I know that at some point, and we're almost there, skinny's not going to be enough because it's too attainable. Now that there's a Wegovy pill, I'm like, okay, this is not going to be skinny anymore. It's going to be something else. Because as soon as fat, poor people can get it, it'll be out. So I'm always concerned with critiquing the present because it'll just change. Like it just moves. And so that needle moving is really what we need to critique, and not what we're actually looking at.
That's a really good point.
So that's why I always have trouble with it. But again, looking at a friend group and seeing them all shaped the same, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, it's not a thing.
Like, how you all gravitated towards each other? Like, what? Yeah, it is kind of fascinating. I think, like, being like a mid-sized person my whole life, and a super chubby kid, and just like someone who always has been told by the doctor that I need to lose 15 to 20 pounds. Like, that's just always been my experience. I am very passionate about thinking about like the way in which our society expects women in particular to be and to have what kind of shape when. Yeah. And I think with a show like Euphoria, again, where it just does, I do feel like these are women who are in our system just like we are. And so it doesn't make sense to critique them. It just makes sense to critique the system that we're all in.
Yeah. I just have to say this now so that I'm not going to remember when we wrap. I would love to speak to you more about this very topic, because I am someone who grew up a chubby kid. I've had many different bodies. The body that has been critiqued the most is the body that I reproduced in. And I would love to speak to you more about how the bodies that women have are to some extent, meant to reproduce, now very much so expected to reproduce and have a lot of pressure to reproduce. And what happens after the fact when we do.
Totally.
100%. And Tressie McMillan Cottom said this at one point a couple years ago after COVID. She was like, the most exhausting thing in my life is having a body. Like, even just like being in a body, like that is the most exhausting part of my day. And I'm so tired of it. If I could just be a brain, I would. Because I'm just tired of having a body. And I was like, damn.
That is so
Isn't that so profound?
That's really good.
Oh my God, I love her so much. Anyway, so we have to bookmark this because I really want to talk to you about this.
And completely. And you know what? Like we don't feel like that on accident.
Absolutely
like
not.
Every single advertisement, commercial thing that our doctor is being told to say, it's just like all compounds. And like if we didn't have all of that, we would just be able to live and not even think about it. Ideally, it would just be a part of our experience and we wouldn't have to second guess it. And we don't need to critique in the mirror and do all of these things. It's just like all of these things come together to make us exhausted.
Yep. Oh my God. Anyway, so Faye with her crazy body is really mad at Rue. She wants to open up the safe. They open up the safe. There ain't no money in there. Just the IDs of all these different girls. And we see Angel in there.
So sad. I knew that she was a goner when we saw her do the little look back, and Rue knew she was a goner. And that again, just more women without a voice, without agency.
Yeah, and more in your face, like, hey, this is the show about Christianity. The angel's gone. Dun, dun, dun. Sam.
Oh, duh. I didn't even put two and two together. That's really
you're trying
good.
To analyze this in a smart way. You're not even looking at it this way. This is so foolish.
A little too obvious,
God.
I guess. Yeah.
Next week, we are done with this show. Danielle, thank you so much for coming on and joining me for this goonery. Oh
my God. I'm honored. This has been such an awesome conversation. I'm excited to put it behind me as well. I'm going to watch it because I want to know what happens.
Yes.
We gotta know, but it could be better. Sure can. So I'm glad that we rewrote some of it today.
Yes, if you want to hear and watch us rewrite Sam Levinson's Euphoria, you got to join us on Patreon. Join us at patreon.com/2blackgirlsmedia. We have a lot of fun watching Jersey Shore, so if you want some fun times, you can tune in there. And we are also recapping The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Speaking of trad wives, they are so fascinating. And we're at the tail end. It's so good. We're at the tail end of that. And then we are doing Love Island is Here to Save Us, June 2nd. So we'll be back for that as well.
You got a lot on the docket. You're busy.
I love it. We'll see you guys later. Bye.